Hello, I'm Hope Logan. I'm an actor on Bold and the Beautiful, and many people really love both me and our Bold and the Beautiful drama. So I've come here to share updates about my beloved Bold and the Beautiful. Everyone, please subscribe and support me. If you do, I will keep coming every day with new updates for you. The storm brewing between the Forresters and the Logans is about to erupt with a force that no one can ignore. And at the very center of that explosion stands Ridge Forrester. Every new revelation surrounding Logan has only fueled the fire burning inside him, leaving him more frustrated and enraged than ever before. What began as a corporate conflict has transformed into something deeply personal, threatening everything the Forrester family has worked so hard to protect. Ridge can no longer stand by and watch the damage spread through Forrester Creations, while those he holds responsible continue acting as though they've won. Every setback, every betrayal, and every humiliation has piled onto his shoulders until the weight becomes almost impossible to bear. Now, with his patience finally exhausted, Ridge reaches a dangerous conclusion. Someone has to answer for the chaos, and in his mind, there is one man who deserves to pay above all others. That man is Bill Spencer, and the collision course between these two longtime rivals is becoming impossible to stop. As the week of July 6th through July 10th unfolds, Ridge's anger only grows more intense. He cannot shake the belief that Bill has played a major role in everything that has gone wrong, and every time he thinks about the damage inflicted on Forrester Creations, his resentment sharpens into something far more volatile. Bill, meanwhile, appears to have no regrets whatsoever. Behind the closed doors of the Spencer and Logan offices, he has reportedly been celebrating the latest turn of events with his own team, wearing his confidence like armor and enjoying every moment of his apparent victory. Yet Bill has never been the type to keep his triumphs private. If Ridge decides to confront him face to face, Bill is unlikely to show humility or restraint. Instead, he would almost certainly welcome the opportunity to rub his success directly in Ridge's face, turning an already explosive encounter into an emotional powder keg waiting for a single spark. That spark seems destined to arrive. Every sign points toward Ridge making his way to the Spencer and Logan offices, unable to suppress his emotions any longer. According to what lies ahead, July 10th becomes the turning point. The day Ridge chooses to take matters into his own hands instead of allowing the conflict to continue from a distance. The determination in his eyes reflects a man who believes words alone are no longer enough. His frustration has reached a breaking point, and every step toward Bill's office carries the weight of weeks of bottled-up fury. The atmosphere surrounding his arrival feels unbearably tense, as though everyone present can sense that something catastrophic is about to unfold. This is no ordinary business meeting. It is the inevitable clash between two powerful men whose rivalry has been simmering beneath the surface for far too long. When Ridge finally stands before Bill, there is little chance that the confrontation will remain calm for very long. Every accusation, every bitter memory, and every painful consequence of the Logan situation threatens to pour out all at once. Ridge's emotions are no longer guided by reason, but by raw anger, heartbreak, and an overwhelming desire to hold someone accountable. Bill, never one to back away from conflict, is unlikely to offer an apology or attempt to calm the situation. If anything, his confidence and arrogance may only provoke Ridge even further. The exchange quickly carries the unmistakable feeling that words are losing their power, replaced by the dangerous possibility that fists may soon speak louder than either man ever intended. Ironically, the Forrester family finds itself standing on shaky moral ground. Not long ago, Brooke Logan Forrester became involved in her own heated confrontation with Katie Logan Spencer during a tense visit to Logan. What began as a verbal argument spiraled into physical chaos, leaving a screen shattered in the aftermath of their struggle. That incident exposed an uncomfortable truth about the Forresters and those connected to them through marriage. Despite repeatedly condemning acts of physical aggression, they have shown that when emotions boil over, they are hardly immune to losing control themselves. Their outrage over violence suddenly appears selective, creating a glaring contradiction that becomes increasingly difficult for anyone to ignore. The comparison becomes even more striking when Will Spencer's earlier actions are brought back into the spotlight. After sucker punching R.J. Forrester at Bikini Bar, Will was treated as though he had crossed an unforgivable line. The consequences came swiftly and harshly. He was publicly criticized, severely reprimanded, and ultimately fired, all while being portrayed as an uncontrollable threat who allowed his emotions to dictate his actions. Yet now, the very people who condemned him seem ready to follow the same path themselves. If Ridge allows his anger to explode into violence, the hypocrisy surrounding the entire situation becomes impossible to deny. The standards that once seemed absolute suddenly begin to shift depending on who is throwing the punches, revealing just how deeply personal this feud has truly become. Every indication suggests that Ridge may abandon restraint altogether during his encounter with Bill. Fueled by weeks of bitterness and convinced that Bill bears responsibility for the destruction surrounding Forrester Creations, Ridge may decide that talking is no longer enough. If he manages to get past security, he could march directly into Bill's office without hesitation, letting years of resentment culminate in a single explosive moment. One powerful punch could shatter the fragile line separating business rivalry from outright physical warfare. For Ridge, it would be an attempt to release every ounce of frustration that has been building inside him. For Bill, it would be an unmistakable declaration that this conflict has reached a dangerous new level from which there may be no easy return. But Bill Spencer has never been known for quietly accepting an attack. If Ridge expects his longtime rival to simply absorb the blow and walk away, he may be in for a rude awakening. Bill possesses just as much pride, determination, and stubbornness as Ridge himself, making it highly unlikely that he would refuse to fight back. Instead, he may answer every punch with one of his own, transforming a heated confrontation into an all-out brawl between two men whose hatred for each other has been building over many years. Their long and contentious history provides more than enough fuel for an explosive showdown, ensuring that neither man will be eager to back down once the first strike has been thrown. What begins as a confrontation could quickly spiral into one of the most unforgettable clashes either of them has ever faced. As the dust begins to settle, one thing becomes painfully clear. This war between the Forresters and the Logans has entered an entirely new chapter. Ridge's desperate search for someone to blame has driven him directly toward Bill Spencer, and Bill's refusal to show remorse has only intensified the conflict. The emotional wounds surrounding Logan and the devastating impact on Forrester Creations continue to deepen with every passing day, leaving reconciliation feeling more distant than ever before. The week ahead promises soaring tempers, dangerous confrontations, and consequences that could permanently reshape the relationships between these powerful families. Ridge goes looking for a fight because his anger leaves him unable to do anything else, and everything suggests that he will find exactly what he is searching for. Once these two longtime enemies finally collide, the fallout may extend far beyond a single punch, setting the stage for even greater drama as the battle for pride, loyalty, and revenge continues to consume everyone caught in its path. The storm surrounding the Logan family was far from over, and its aftershocks continued to shake every corner of the fashion empire that Ridge Forrester had spent years helping build. The fallout from everything that had unfolded at Logan had left him simmering with a level of frustration that refused to fade, and every passing hour only fueled the fire burning inside him. Instead of finding solutions for the growing problems facing Forrester Creations, Ridge found himself consumed by anger over how deeply the chaos had disrupted their future plans. The company he had fought so hard to protect now stood caught in the middle of a conflict that seemed to grow more personal by the day. For Ridge, this was no longer just about business or corporate rivalry. It had become a matter of pride, loyalty, and betrayal. And in his mind, there was one man who deserved to answer for the damage more than anyone else. That man was Bill Spencer. Ridge couldn't shake the belief that Bill had played a central role in the disaster that had unfolded. And the more he thought about it, the more determined he became to make sure Bill paid the price. His frustration wasn't the kind that could simply be buried beneath another busy workday or forgotten after a night's sleep. It lingered beneath every conversation, every decision, and every glance toward the growing uncertainty surrounding Forrester Creations. Ridge's patience had finally reached its breaking point, and as the week of July 6th through July 10th unfolded, he prepared to stop reacting to the chaos and start confronting the man he believed had helped create it. He wasn't interested in excuses or negotiations anymore. This time, he intended to settle things face to face. Meanwhile, inside the Spencer and Logan offices, the atmosphere couldn't have been more different. Behind closed doors, Bill Spencer had been celebrating his position with unmistakable confidence, openly enjoying what he viewed as another victory in his endless war against the Foresters. His inner circle watched as he gloated without hesitation, wearing the smug grin of a man who believed he had outmaneuvered his longtime rivals yet again. Bill wasn't the type to hide his satisfaction, and if given the opportunity, he would have no problem rubbing that success directly in Ridge's face. Rather than backing down or showing even the slightest hint of remorse, Bill seemed ready to welcome any confrontation that came his way. If Ridge walked through those office doors, Bill would almost certainly meet him with the same confidence and arrogance that had made him such a formidable enemy for years.